getting close to like the end of set 4, and I realized that I haven't given you guys my high school deck profile. This is the deck I've been running at locals every single week. You're going to want to use the Super Saiyan 2 Goku, the Ripku. He is just so good for the entire deck because you get to draw 2, put 1 back on top. You can stack your deck to get the exact cards that you need. So this is the leader you want to run for this deck. But let's get into the deck profile, show you guys what I'm running and why I'm running it. I've been really good with it. I just got Platinum in the online client with it, so really liking the deck so far. Staple is going to be 4 copies of Sharpener. Basically, this card is going to reduce everything in your deck to make it 0. All your extra cards will cost nothing because of this Sharpener. If you have bad luck, maybe not, but it does happen. Next, we got our Researcher, 4 copies of Eraza. Honestly, I didn't like her at first, and then I started playing her every single chance that I got, and just getting more cards in your hand to be able to combo up with and kind of fill the board up with more Satan City cards is super, super useful, and people want to try to get rid of these as quickly as possible. Next, this is also a card I didn't like when I first read it, but then playing it, I actually really like it. 3 copies of the 1-drop Videl. So basically what this does is that you're going to return it to hand, flip the top card. If it's Satan City, play out a Videl with a cost of 2 from your hand, and then you can't play Videl. So the wording of that card is that you could technically play all 3 of these Videls, bring this card back to hand, play out another Videl, but you wouldn't be able to utilize these effects afterwards. Or you can play out the 2-drop Videls and then put out one of these, bring it back, and still get the other Videl out. Super useful, and with being a 10k combo, you can like swing with it pretty early on and then bounce it to hand. So having that free attack is always really, really nice. 3 copies of Hercule. This card, it's good in certain situations. Against Jiren, it's kind of useless because you have to attack with it, so they're still going to get the effect off. But any sort of 5-drops, whether it's the like double strikers or something like that, it's great to get rid of those stuff. Green, it can make it a little bit easier just to kind of get rid of things as well. But 3 copies of him is absolutely phenomenal. Next, I'm only running 3 copies of the Pilaf. I don't want to have too many cards that aren't Satan City in this deck for the odd chance that I'm going to see this card in the top deck. But this card can still get back quite a lot of targets. Like, honestly, almost half the deck, which is really nice. Next, we are running 4 copies of this Videl here, the 2 cost. So this is a when attacking 7 or fewer cards in hand. Grab a card that is blue and 3 or less from your drop. Since there's no 3 costs in this deck, so it's 2 or less for the entire deck. You can bring back so many freaking cards with this thing. It's actually kind of insane. This card will help finish off games. You can probably charge 1 of them and then play 3. But they're going to try to get rid of this every single time that you attack with it. So try to attack bodies on the board just to get its draw power, make them ditch a card or kill their guy, and then just try to combo to keep it alive. That card is freaking amazing. All right, next, moving on to the 4-drops. We have 4 copies of the Son Gohan Adolescence. This card is amazing. Whenever you're going to play this card, though, make sure you have 7 or fewer cards. There's countless times where I have played this card and had 8, and it's not a good feeling. But that is user error. This card is just going to bottom deck 2 level 3s or less. So with the Hercules, you can make a 5 or less as well, which is pretty fantastic. Just absolutely phenomenal. You'll probably end up charging 1 of those as well. Seeing 3 of those is honestly more than enough. Next, we're running 4 copies of the Great Saiyaman. You could probably run this at 3 if you wanted to tech in something else. Just because you want to get them in trash pretty much as soon as possible. You'll probably not charge it just because it's a 10k combo. Everything is a 10k combo unless it's a 0 or the Erazas, which is a 5k. So these guys, you just want to use them as combo just pretty early on, just so you can play the next card coming up, because you'll never actually play the Great Saiyaman for 4. You'll play the Great Saiyaman number 2, because this, if you have 7 or fewer, you bring back a Great Saiyaman to the board, which is just great. You know, having 50k power on the board is just super phenomenal for trying to end the game. And this card is just fantastic. 3 is enough. 4 I found a little bit too clunky. Next, we're only running the 1 Double Strike Vegeta. This deck's not prioritizing Double Strike, not trying to finalize that last game. It's really filling the board and overwhelm them. This is just if you're a little bit behind and you're trying to finish the game. This can actually help you quite a lot, and a lot of people don't expect it. Next for our 5, we have 1 of the Vegetos. This card, it's absolutely fantastic. On play, choose one of your opponent's guys with 5 or less, return it to the hand. If you got Hercule, it's a 7 or less, which is pretty much everything except Broly. And then you attack, restand, attack, hopefully going for a game. So one of those, totally fine. Really, these next cards here, the Zeno and the Goku Black, it really depends on who you're playing. If you're playing red, charge this. You're not going to use it. You're not going to want to attack with this into a Jiren just for the Jiren to activate his effect for you to then get some things on the board. Zeno, it's going to get rid of it. Broly, if you're playing Broly, you're going to want to keep this. You could potentially keep this because you can still attack with it and it could be beneficial that way. But it just gives you some options. Some people, you could run this at 2 Zenos or 2 Goku Blacks, or hell, you could run 3 Vegetos if you really want to. If you want to stick at 5, you can. I only have these. The Goku Black especially. Ideally, I like to do this. Play out all 3 of these in one turn. That really throws them off because they're not expecting you to play 3 bodies with 6 energy that can attack and go for game. So being able to do that is quite a lot of fun, and it really just kind of frustrates a lot of people. We're running 4 copies, obviously, of the Super Combo. I wish this was Satan City. It is not. It's really frustrating that it's not, but, you know, it is what it is. So we're only running 3 copies of the high school. Having 4, I've seen 3 in my hand turn 1, and having 3 in your hand, you're just going to immediately charge 1. You'll probably only ever need to see 1 or 2, just because you have so many cards in the deck that can get it back. You have the Videls, you have the Pilafs. I think that's everything that gets it back. But like those 2 cards alone will get these things back so many times. So 3 is honestly enough. 3 copies of the Great Saiyaman. This is basically the same thing as the Sun Gohan Adolescence, just in the card form. This one just depends on how many Satan City cards you have on the board, and then you bottom deck something. So you can still get rid of stuff like Jiren if you have... I know I'm picking on Jiren a lot here, but let's face it, he's annoying. If you have 4 1-drops, you have 4 Arazas on the board. Araza got rid of Jiren. It's a good time. It's a good time. And then you can get those cards back quite frequently. Then we're running 3 copies of You Prefer Girls with Short Hair. I honestly underutilized this card at the beginning of the meta. That's what I was trying to say. So I very underutilized this card at the beginning of the meta. Now I play it probably 3 times a game because getting 8 extra cards plus top decking the card that you need is so much value that this card is just absolutely necessary. And for the last card in the deck, we have 1 copy of Final Hope Slash. There's a lot of cards in this run, this meta, that either has critical, so Cooler, he's popular right now, or cards that will basically send stuff right from your hand, like the Majin Buu stuff, to the trash. So you can ditch this stuff and get them back pretty easily. Like, it doesn't hurt you to get this if you can't use it on your turn, and then just get it back next turn. Like, if you have a Videl on the board, just trash this, attack with the Videl, get it back. So this deck has done extremely well for me. Really been liking the playstyle. As you can see, I'm trying to max rarity this deck. I want it to be very shiny and very cool. But let me know what you guys think of the Satan City deck. Do you like it? Are you ready for it to go away and never be shown again? What are you looking to play next set as well? Let me know in the comment section below.